Okay guys, so this is our introduction to our PBL. This is going to be a sort of brief synopsis of what we're going to be doing in these 9 weeks. It's definitely not as detailed as I would like for it to be at the moment, but that's okay. We are going to sort of work on it as we go, okay? Y'all know I'm new to Emerald, new to this whole PBL thing, so we're going to be testing the waters with this as we go, okay? But I promise it's going to be fun. I promise it's going to be engaging. It's going to be more like the simulation type things and these more research-based things that we were doing in government. Alright, so the first step, you are going to start right here in choosing a career. Okay, so the first step to this entire PBL, like I said, it's this sort of plan your life aspect, right? The game of life. You're going to choose a career path, right? I am going to have you guys research things, different jobs. You're going to be looking at the job duties, salaries, all those sorts of things, right? Well, after you choose this career, you need to figure out, is it going to require you to go to school, right? Your dream career, do you have to go to school for it? If yes, you go this way, and you need to figure out where you're going to go to school, how much it's going to cost you. You need to make sure they have your degree program, all those sorts of fun things. So you get to explore different college websites and look at their courses that you would be taking, all those sorts of things. Additionally, the less fun part is looking at how much it's going to cost you out of pocket and how exactly we're going to pay for this all. That means everybody's taking out student loans. You'll get more details for this as we go, but I just want everyone that has chosen a career that does require you to go to school to apply for some sort of loans, just so we see what that process actually looks like. Because even though you may have a full ride to school or you may have tons of scholarships right now, those aren't guaranteed, guys. Those are typically academic-based scholarships, and I promise you it is not going to be as easy as you think once you get there. So I'm not going to let you count on having those scholarships and those tuitions already paid for and covered before you get there, okay? We're going to be practicing this just in case, this sort of backup scenario. Additionally, we'll go backwards in this loop in your career. If it doesn't require you to go to school, that's perfectly fine too. You're just not going to have to be doing this legwork. You're still going to be learning about it with everybody else and with all of us as a class, and you'll still be doing some of the practice work. Yours just won't feed into your project. But if your career does not require you to go to school, either way, we're all going to be moving to this next step of making a resume, applying for a job, and landing an interview, right? So we're all going to go through this resume making process. We're going to make them look nice and neat and awesome. We're going to apply for the position, so we're going to be doing some job applications, and we're going to land an interview, right? You are going to, based on this application that you filled out, you got to get an interview, right? Not only have to get an interview, you have to successfully pass this interview process, right? We're going to be bringing in some guests into this classroom during this next 9 weeks pretty frequently, right? And so one of those things we're going to be doing with these guests is they're going to be interviewing you guys, and we're going to actually put you through that process. So, when you go out someday, you're not just thrown into the waters. You know what to expect in this interview process, what people are looking for. After you figure all that out, you guys are going to find a place to call home. So this means you are basically going to be figuring out where you want to live. Do you want to live in Greenwood? Do you want to live in Greenville? Do you even want to live in South Carolina? Or would you rather move across the country, California, New York, somewhere like that? Where are you going to call home? And not only where are you going to call home, but how is that going to affect the choices that you've made thus far? We're going to be doing a lot of reflecting in this 9 weeks because we have a lot of decision making, and so we're going to sort of keep all of this together and reflect on all these choices that we've made, and those are going to be a big component of your grade for this class. That reflection process and explaining to me, hey, I chose to live in New York because, maybe I'm not that close to my family here in Greenwood, or that's somewhere I've always wanted to go, or whatever the reason may be. You're just going to explain to me your reasoning for choosing the options and the things that you have chosen. After you figure out, hey, I'm going to live in New York or wherever, you're going to figure out, hey, what is it going to cost me to rent a place here? What is it going to cost me to buy, right? You're going to look at a couple options. You're going to look at, hey, this is what the top of my budget is going to look like. This is what the bottom of my budget, this is what I can actually afford. Everybody's going to be going through the buying process. We're just going to be using renting as a comparison tool. But we're all going to be buying, and we're all going to go through the the buying a home process, the home purchasing process, and all the things that entails that you would never even dream of. Things like insurance, homeowners insurance, home warranties, all the crazy things that can go wrong with a home. Additionally, you have to get these home loans just to even cover this. What is a home loan? What does it look like? What is the interest rate? How big is a mortgage? What does it actually look like? You guys are going to learn a lot just in these little sections about how inefficient it is to just rent your entire life versus buying a home, and the sort of positive equity and the gains you can make in your life from these sorts of processes and being familiar with them. And I mean, just the knowledge that you're going to get from this will help you. It will give you an advantage over so many people that were never given this curriculum. Additionally, we're going to look at buying a car. You guys are going to get to go car shopping. You're going to get to look at these cars, figure out what you can afford, what features. Maybe you got navigation, and the guy beside, and the person sitting beside you, maybe they got a little two-door Honda Civic, but you are riding a Porsche because you're going to be a doctor, that sort of thing, right? You're going to look at buying a car. What is this car payment actually going to look like? What is this interest? How much money am I actually going to be paying on this car over time? All those sorts of options, right? All that's going to feed into this budgeting aspect. Guys, these arrows move back and forth here between this because this is going to be a very reflective and changing and ongoing process, okay? So as we budget, we're going to be making a grocery list, a menu, right? You are going to have to tell me what you're going to eat every meal of the day for a week or two at least. And based on that menu and what you plan on eating, you're going to have to go grocery shopping on whatever your local grocery store is. Say you have a Publix down the street based on the place that you lived up here, so you have to go to that Publix in Publix.com and tell me, hey, this is based on this menu I made, this is how much I'm going to have to spend on groceries. Additionally, you're going to have to manage a savings account and invest in the stock market. So we're going to have to look at that, what saving actually is, what retirement is, your benefits from your career up here, how that contributes to this, that return process. And again, these arrows are going back and forth because as you make this list, maybe you realize, hey, I can't spend as much money as I originally planned here, so you have to go back and revisit these things. That's why those arrows are like that. I fully expect this process to take a while because we're going to have to reflect on this. Well, maybe I can't buy this car that I wanted to buy because according to my budget, that's just not quite feasible with the money that I need to save and this and that sort of thing. So just know that this is going to be a very reflective process, that things may change as we go through here. So don't get your heart too set on something, okay? When you get your budget finalized, guys, near the end, we're going to be applying for a credit card. You guys are actually going to look at that process. You're going to learn about interest rates and when they're compounded and what that means and how much you would actually wind up paying for, you know, little things over time if you just put them on a card and never think about them. We're going to be planning a dream vacation, right? Once you're an adult and you have all this sort of stuff, you look forward to these sorts of vacations, right? Planning a dream vacation. Well, you wouldn't believe what it actually costs to go to, you know, go on a cruise for a week or go, you know, to the Bahamas or Mexico or Europe or wherever your dream vacation is, right? You guys get to pick those destinations, plan the whole trip from top to bottom. But you also have to figure out, you know, how does that fit into my budget? How am I going to pay for this? Is it going to go on a card? What is that payment scheme going to look like over time? Those sorts of things. And additionally, at the end, we'll see, this is sort of pending. It depends on how much time we have. But you're going to start a family and create this new budget, right? Now that you all of a sudden are going to have a kid, how is that going to change your budget? Well, maybe all of a sudden that money that you had saving to go out on a Friday night, you just don't have anymore because you have a kid. So just those sorts of things. And like I said, this is pending. I don't know for sure that we're going to be able to get to that because we have a lot up here that we need to get to. Just a couple stipulations I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about with this. I am not going to let anyone rely on a spouse for any income purposes for this project. So particularly when we get down here to this family portion, at no point in this project is anyone going to get to consider anyone else's income but your own, right? So when you start this family, everyone's gonna be assuming that your spouse doesn't work, right? You are the head of the household. You provide it all. So all of this is based on just your income from this job that you chose up here. Again, not everyone has to go to school. That's no big deal. But you are going to still be doing the same process, because guys, as we do these things, as we do these tasks and do this research and complete these tasks, we're going to be learning the curriculum in between, right? So before we get down here to the savings account and investing in the stock market, we actually need to talk about the stock market, right? You need to learn how it works, what it is, how it operates, how you actually make money in the stock market, all those sorts of things. So all these arrows are kind of, think of those like embedded curriculum, right? So before we can move from this box, we got to learn a little something before we can get here, right? So all these little things are going to be this embedded curriculum that are going to help you make these next decisions, right? I definitely think it's going to be a very fun process for you guys. It's going to be very interactive. You get a lot of voice and choice in this project, because literally every aspect of this you get to pick. You have a lot of say-so in your project, simply because it's your life, right? And this is not, I don't want you guys to think that this is going to be some giant project that if you mess up in the end, all of a sudden you're going to fail. That's not how it is. These are going to be many small components. This is project-based learning, not a project. You're not going to be turning something into me at the end of the 9 weeks. On Monday, Greta Flynn is actually going to be coming to speak to you guys. She is our technology coach for Emerald. She's going to come talk to you guys about Google Sites, which is what we're going to be using to keep up with all this information, so that we can reflect back on it and go back to it. So say, if I wanted to come back and see what your house looks like, we're going to go to this Google site, and that's where you're going to kind of keep everything. It's going to be like your digital notebook for everything. And she's going to show us a little more about that on Monday, and we will get started then. So I hope you guys are excited about this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward to it. Just be thinking about all these big decisions that you have coming up in 9 weeks. You're going to go from choosing a career to planning a dream vacation. Okay? So let me know if you have any questions.